Good morning, all. My name is Don Zavis, National Sales Trainer and Sales Coach. I do keynote speaking on revenue development topics, and I'd like to welcome you to today's Sales Triage installment. This particular one is a uniquely interesting one for me because we're going to talk about influence versus persuasion. What it is, what it's not, and how you can lever it in a selling environment. I like to start with this adage on this particular sniglet, that you cannot convince anyone of anything. The best that you can do in a selling situation is help them discover that the products and services that you provide can take care of their problems, their issues, or anything. Most salespeople think in terms of convincing them if they cite enough statistics and facts and all the details and features and benefits, that overwhelming amount of evidence would fortunately allow the client to buy. We find that not to be the case. So let's look at influence versus persuasion, what it is and what it's not. And I'll give you a quick story about influence. I think anyone that knows me knows I'm an avid fly fisherman. And back in Michigan, I was part of the Michigan Fly Fishing Club. Great organization for those that are in Michigan that'll be joining us or even on the East Coast. And what I found when I first started fly fishing many, many years ago is the best fishermen that were in the group tend to use Orvis equipment. I didn't really know much, just had an inexpensive rod, inexpensive reel, inexpensive flies and things like that because I was just getting started. But I noticed that all the best people that were in the club had Orvis equipment. Now, they didn't have patches on their jacket. They weren't spokespeople for them. They weren't on their payroll. They just used it because in their evaluation it was the proper and best product. That's a great example of influence. Now, persuasion is a little bit different. So persuasion in a selling situation is where we help the client discover that the products and services that we provide. So one is a very passive. The influence is very passive. The people that had the Orvis equipment back when I was actually involved in fly fishing never said to all of the junior members, when you guys get good, you should go buy Orvis. They never said that. It was a very passive presence that they had. And so as we'd be tying flies or preparing the equipment for the day's fish, you would see all these Orvis insignias out on all the better of the products. That's a very passive item. So if you're in any sales scenarios, there's an opportunity for you to passively influence the people that you're doing business with. For our conversation, now, we're going to look at an active module, the active part of it being persuasion. And persuasion is built around a variety of different elements. Persuasion certainly could be, in some cases, cost is persuasive. In some cases, very favorable media is persuasive. So you find that certain products and services that you'll see advertised frequently, those types of media will tend to persuade people into buying. Could be personal recommendations. Someone in their world maybe had worked with you in the past or maybe used the products and services that you provide. And thus, they're the ones that are doing the more persuasion for that. So persuasion is really more of that technique. It's more of that tip. It's more than kind of taking a client who may not necessarily have a significant awareness of your products and services and providing them with that level of awareness framed in an environment where they can ultimately solve their problem. So again, we're looking at that active application of those persuasive techniques. Those are the types of things in sales training and coaching that we talk about. It's the words that go along with what we have. Whereas again, that passive, that influence is passive, right? Golfers, many of the golfers have wonderful endorsements from the products and services they had. But there are times when they just use things that are really not endorsable, right? They may like a particular kind of coffee, right? Maybe they like Starbucks, and but they're not endorsed by Starbucks, and yet you'll see them on the course with a cup of Starbucks in their hand. So that influence is always the types of things. You want to have that in your personal presence and your personal branding. Your influence could be certainly try to be well attired. It could be elegant. It could be honest, forthright, and trustworthy. Those are all things that will influence your selling relationship. Again, on that passive way, where that active is the techniques, it's the tips, it's the skills, it's all those things that we can use in an active environment. So that's influence versus persuasion. I thank you for joining us. I'm Don Zavis, National Sales Trainer and Sales Coach. I do keynote speaking throughout the country in revenue development topics, and I certainly appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.